Hello, this is JC Santana coming to you from the Institute of Human Performance. And we're going to talk about a very, very awesome topic, but that is so old for us that it's almost nostalgic. And that is complex training. And not complex the way we do complexes of power complexes and hybrid complexes. No, no, no. Complex training with barbells and with dumbbells. And what that means is putting moves together. Sometimes you string 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves, okay? We like to stay in that 2 to 3 moves, 4 on the outside, 5, 6, 7 move complexes just get ridiculous. And the advantage of this, obviously, one is conditioning. Conditioning, if you're doing circuits, if you're doing anything like boot camps, you can do complexes with medicine balls, you can do complex with dumbbells, you can do complex with kettlebells, sandbags, and of course, its origin is in the barbell world. Now, the first time that this actually came out in a public journal was the NSCA journal with Istvan Javorek. He's the guy that kind of inspired me to do the Olympic lifts complexes, and then we took him into the fitness world. So what that would look like, all right, would do, for example, he'd do snatches, okay, then overhead squats, and then here to high pulls. That would be a complex. So you would do 3 snatches, 3 overhead squats, and 3 high pulls. Or you can do 3 high pulls, 3 snatches, 3 overhead squats, and drop it. So that's an example of a complex, and you try to choreograph the thing where it makes sense, where you don't have to put the bar down and get a dumbbell and all that stuff. So let's talk about how you can combine movements and how you can do these complexes. This is the methodology that we expanded on Istvan's work. You can do a move in sequence, which means you do 1 move, high pull, then you do a snatch, and then you do an overhead. So that's the sequence, and you would repeat the sequence 2 or 3 times. Another form of complexing is succession method, and that is where you would do 3 high pulls, 3 snatches, and 3 overhead squats. Okay, so sequencing, you string 3 exercises together, and then you do that string, that sequence multiple times. Succession, you finish all the reps of one exercise before you go to the other, before you go to the other. And then the last method is a combination. Now, combinations sometimes are inherent in the move. So for example, if you do a high pull, all right, and you do a snatch, and you do a combination, you would finish with a snatch. If you're doing a squat, curl, and press with dumbbells, for example, you can do squats, curls, presses, that's succession. You can do squat, curl, press, that's sequencing, and you can do combination where you're going in here. So by the time you finish the squat, the dumbbell is overhead. That's the combination method, okay? It's easy to do with some exercises. It's impossible to do with other exercises where you're changing the bar position and so on and so forth. So anyways, let me show you a couple of my favorite complexes for fitness. Okay, you know that I like the Olympic lifts. I competed in Olympic weightlifting, but I don't like the Olympic lifts to condition people, especially the general public, for fitness. So we're going to stay away from the overhead squat position. We're going to stay away from those types of things, not because they're bad. It's just because they're not very useful, because not too many people can do them correctly. All right? And so when I say they're not useful for that reason. The level of proficiency needed for many of the Olympic lifts and their partials is very high, and I don't want to invest that kind of time into teaching somebody when I can get training adaptations immediately, or I don't want to have somebody do an exercise that anatomically they may not be built for, and you don't know that until 20 years down the chain when you need artificial hips, okay? So for that reason, we're staying out of extreme positions and high level skills such as the overhead snatch position and the snatch. Now, let's look at some of my favorite complexes. Now, let's start with a 2-movement complex. One of our favorites, okay, would be the high pull. So you're in here, okay, boom, boom, and then finish with deadlifts. Okay, so you would do 2, 3, 4 high pulls. I kind of like to start with the explosive stuff first and then finish with the conditioning and strength stuff. All right, so you would do 2, 3, 4 high pulls and then go right into 2, 3, or 4 deadlifts. That's a 2-movement complex. So let's say that you want to get into cleans, okay, if you want to. So we go into, boom, cleans, okay? So let's say you do 2, boom, 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 get 3 there, and then you finish with your strength stuff. It's not really bad to finish with the explosive stuff. However, if you're going to finish with the explosive stuff, it is mandatory, absolutely necessary that you have a skill level that is extremely high. In other words, there cannot be any flaws in highly skilled lifts, especially when you're in a fatigue state. That's why I'm not a fan of 30 snatches or snatching for 30 seconds. You do not do highly skilled moves in a fatigue state. Got it? So that's the reason I do my fast stuff first and then finish with my strength. All right, the next complex is a complex we used to use a lot, and you have to be good with the overhead press, okay? So here we would start with the weak movement first, and that's good morning, okay, to squat, okay? You can do 2, 3, 4 of each. That's a biplex, okay? Then you can go to good morning, squat, overhead press, okay? So you can do 2 or 3 of each, and remember you can do them in sequencing. Now, the squat to overhead press, you can do in combination. So you can go 1, 2, 3, and then go here, and then boom, 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 okay? So that good morning squat behind the neck press, pretty good combination for athletes who have great shoulder flexibility. As you saw, I'm kind of challenged on that. And good overhead pressing mechanics. If you don't have that, leave the overhead press out of there and do them with dumbbells. Let's go to the dumbbells so you can see some of the stuff that we do. If you have shoulder problems, dumbbells are awesome. And don't be afraid to do single arm dumbbell compounds. They're pretty good. The only thing is that they take a little bit more time because you got to do them to each side. However, let's stay with the basics. A squat, curl, and press. That's probably the most popular compound probably in fitness, okay? Squat, curl, and press. Got it? Remember, sequence, which you just saw, or boom, succession, okay? I would not do anything over 5 reps of each. So I like that 3 to 4. Use more weight, go 3 to 4 of each one, okay? So now you can get into really the same thing. You can get into your deadlifts, your upright rows, and your muscle snatches. See? Muscle snatches are pretty healthy because they don't put you here. You can finish them wherever you want. So if you don't have a lot of shoulder flexibility and you do a muscle snatch, and a muscle snatch is kind of a continuous upright row to an overhead press, okay? We used to do them this way to help with your lockout and with the transition. So now, if you do a muscle snatch with a dumbbell, you can go be in here and drive with the big muscles and finish here if you want. Got it? So you don't have to be out here, and you can open your arms and let them go where they want. So that's a great one. And obviously, you can get into your reach and lunge variations. Boom, 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 boom. Awesome. You can go bam, reaching lunge to curls. So you can do a variety of dumbbells with the barbell and with the dumbbells. If you want to see a bunch of complexes, I mean the whole theory, get my Essence of Dumbbell Training DVD, the second DVD, the second part, and that will show you all of the dumbbells that you will ever need to know. Unilateral dumbbells, alternating dumbbells, simultaneous dumbbells, sequence, succession, combinations, everything. It'll show you with the dumbbells, but you can easily try them out with a barbell and get lots of work, really good condition, and man, get really strong. So there is the complex training, the compound complex training that we do at IHP. I thank Isban Javorek for introducing that concept back in 1988. The NSCA Journal has his article, and I invite you all to read up on them.